2-1, Tom Crawford, Kerry Keaton, Coach Keaton and Crawford here on the Crawford Podcasting Network. We're on the corner of Hagedorn and East Grand River, just north of the Michigan State University campus on a gorgeous April morning. Good morning, Kerry.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, are you basketball out from yesterday?
No, because it's athletics, so you never get tired of that.
Never get tired.
Never get tired.
Yeah, we got a lot to unpack here. In fact, we're going to also touch on the fact you went over and watched Michigan State, your alma mater, as a former player. Scrimmage, the Spartans, under Jonathan Smith. Things are, everybody wins spring practice. Everybody wins all the post-game we get all that, but we're going to delve into that a little bit and get your take on what your realistic expectations are. Again, 2 weeks out from the spring game. Michigan State having their spring game 2 o'clock on April 20th. On BTN, Michigan's going to be on Fox National at noon 2 weeks, or a week from, on the 20th as well, a week from Saturday. So we'll have a lot to talk about on that morning of the 21st out here at Grand Traverse Pike Company. Before we get going, I want to welcome everybody to go out to and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tom's Take Community. Has all the videos with Kerry and I and some of my other videos. Go out and subscribe. You get all that driven right to your phone and get notified. And we talk sports and we talk leadership. We talk coaching. We talk competition. And there was a lot of competition the last couple of days. It started Friday night.
Right.
With that, I tell you what, all of a sudden everybody's into women's basketball, and that's very cool. And Iowa, seemingly the darling. Caitlin, is everybody? Caitlin Clark, that's the gal. Everybody wants to be the GOAT and win it all. Not necessarily for me, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But a controversial call to end that thing. You posted something. I've looked at the thing a million times, but one play does not make a game.
No.
Anyway, where are you at right now?
I just, we talked about this. We talked about it online. We talked about it everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. Was it a foul? Was it not a foul? Should it have been called? My thing is this: as always with referees and the subjectiveness of all these games, they watch TV just like everybody else does, whatnot. My point is, that play's probably happened 20 other times during the game, and it wasn't called.
Consistency is all I ask for in officiating, no matter what the sport.
All. And to call it there, which was it a foul? Yeah, probably by the textbook of the rule. Yeah, sure, probably was. But, 25 feet from the basket.
Little theatrics there by Gabby Marshall. Which she was doing her job.
Sure, a flop by the Iowa girl.
Yeah.
I'm not calling it. I'm gonna let you throw up a 25-footer and see what happens. That's just me though.
So you made a point. You made a point yesterday, and I started after I saw your point in the UConn-Alabama game about moving screens.
Tons of them.
And they were all over the place.
All over, not called.
There was one call.
I saw one. I didn't see one late. But there was a million. Number 35 from UConn was setting moving screens the whole day. Sometimes they can walk down the middle of the lane and just move and just keep turning bodies. And just turn their body.
The easiest call
and it's like,
in basketball.
Okay, somebody gonna call that? Nope.
Yeah.
No call. I'm like, okay, so that's my problem. My bigger problem with the Iowa game, UConn, was the fact that early in the first half, UConn was getting ready to blow them out up 12. All of a sudden, the phantom whistles start showing up all over the place. The one time the girl goes down the lane and gets absolutely not. They blew on her, and they blowing whistles.
Do you think the refs wanted Iowa to win?
I wouldn't. I'm not going to say that. I'm just saying that, like I said, they watch us. Referees get, I don't want to say intimidated, the word I'm trying to find, with the crowd as much as anybody else. And so they initiate or maybe see things before they happen. And start blowing,
Right.
Well, I'm trying to think, what's the word? When you think something's going to happen before it truly happens.
You just have a premonition.
Yeah, well, when you're, not insinuate, that's the wrong word, but You know, you think it's gonna happen, and so
Okay.
you blow the whistle.
All right.
Well, no, but it didn't happen though.
Yeah.
You're just assuming that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it didn't. So let it play out. And that was like one of the one I was telling my brother-in-law. The one thing like I always thought I was good about when I umpired. My strike zone was the same at the beginning of the first inning as it was in the bottom of the seventh.
I agree with that. One of the pet peeves of mine. When people say, "Oh, you don't make that call with 10 seconds to go," that call is as important with 10 seconds into the game as it is in the final 10 seconds.
Absolutely.
Because a game is a product of every trip down the court or trip down
Especially
the
in
field, every snap
basketball.
of football, every play counts, and it all adds up into one final product,
Sure.
winner or loser.
Because
so
if you-
I hate that. Comment.
Especially like in women, like because if you call that foul, and then so maybe they're shooting 2 shots. You know, now they're going to the line on a foul
Right.
and get a couple of extra free shots. You know, points. Well, points add up, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, so then it changes the game.
Oh yeah.
You know, so if it's a foul, like I said, if it's a holding, I've yelled at referees for not calling a holding on my people. Well, that
No.
absolutely
No,
Oh,
I'm on
ask
that
him.
silence. I've
Ask
never
him.
seen that happen.
Ask him. You can ask him because if he's not going to call that call, then and he may not call it against the other team.
Yeah.
And guess what? They may score a touchdown.
I see your point.
And then it costs me. Like
Very strategic.
because I teach my kids how to block. I don't teach them to have their hands outside. You know, I teach them to move their feet. You know, I teach them how to hold. I teach them how to hold correctly. Hands inside, move your feet.
Inside paddle.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
So if he's not doing that, then you're not helping him. He's not getting better. You know, he's being allowed to do illegal things, and that's not good for
See, because
anybody.
in high school, and I'm on the sidelines of a lot of East Lansing games, a lot of the refs do a good job. They're actually teaching while they're officiating.
The good ones do.
The good ones, yeah, they're right. The good ones do.
You know, the ones that would have a conversation instead of walking out
I'd
there
say
being on the muscle.
not all of them, and maybe there's a minority of them, but I've seen it,
Sure.
and I think that's very cool.
Absolutely.
That's very cool.
They're 15 to 18-year-old kids.
Yeah.
They're learning.
Yeah, I mean we see it at the youth, junior Trojan level. We saw it all the time, but that's just normal. But I mean, because they're penalized.
When I was
Penalty
playing
doesn't
at
play.
Eastern, I refereed the Little League football games. That's what we did.
Yeah.
You know, besides the fact that they like, hey, oh, you play East? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now you like, hey, listen, you got to do this. You know, you're teaching. That's all being a referee is. But when you go out there and you got to stick your chest out, and, people can like the one black guy that does the karaoke on the sideline. Oh, I hope he doesn't do the game Monday night. I won't be able to watch.
Okay. Before we get to Monday night, we got 3 o'clock today. I'll tell you one thing about this women's college basketball national championship and the men's. It's number 1 versus number 1. It's chalk. It's rock chalk. Take
Get no
Jayhawk.
better than
You know what I
this.
mean? They're going chalk here. And this is what we want. And 3 o'clock today. It's going to be beautiful outside today. But between 3 and 5, I'm going to be watching that.
Hi, it's for Ginger.
And I'll tell you what, I've been a Big Ten guy all my life. I graduated from a Big Ten school, and it's like I always say, what's good for the other teams in the Big Ten is good for Michigan because it enhances the credibility. But since last October, early October, when the coaches and the ADs, all the other big tried to bring Michigan football down with asking Tony Petitti for harsh penalties and forfeiture, all that stuff, and it's Michigan versus everybody. It's not like I want Big Ten teams to lose. Now I don't care. I don't care if Iowa wins today or loses. I'm not going to take it. Everybody wanted Michigan to lose in the national championship game, and I understand. People are the way they are. But I'm not cheering against Iowa. I'm just not cheering for them. Same thing tomorrow night, 9:20 tip-off in Phoenix. Purdue taking on UConn. I don't care if they win. I don't care if they lose. You understand that, right?
Well, if Michigan's fan base wasn't such a
Now you're doing broad brush here.
Yeah, you already know.
Yeah.
So I have issues with that, but I'm not Iowa.
Do you
I'll
really
root for USC
okay,
and Dawn Staley because she looked like me.
Oh, so it's relatability.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's relatability
100%.
for you. And I understand that from, because I walk in other people's shoes. I walk in Kerry Keaton's shoes. Yeah,
Size
they got big
15.
shoes.
Those big shoes. That's big shoes now.
I swim in those shoes, but I'm just saying.
2
so
feet in one.
I'm open-minded to that, so I
Sure.
understand. But do you care if other Big Ten teams?
I would like to see Purdue win. I like
What-
Zach.
Okay,
I like him.
so okay.
So
take
I would.
the individual players out of the mix. Take Zach Edey out. Take the coach looks like you. Take all those elements. Do you have Big Ten allegiance because you
No,
graduated
I'm
from
like
a Big
you
Ten
at the
school,
end of
played
the
at a
day.
Big Ten school?
Yeah, I'm like you. I don't. It doesn't affect me.
Okay, doesn't either way.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, I'm at
It
the
doesn't.
either way.
Yeah, it
Whereas
doesn't.
before, I was always kind of a good Big Ten guy, and I like
No,
Midwest.
I've
And I'm
never-
proud of Midwest values and Big Ten and all that stuff, and work ethic
I've never
in
been
our
that
region
way.
of the country.
Because
But
I never. I root for my team.
Michigan State.
That's it.
That's the same way with me.
So I don't. Whether they win or lose, it doesn't affect.
Doesn't
me,
affect.
Regardless.
Well, none of it really affects us.
No, I mean even Michigan State, because at the end of the day, if Michigan State win or lose, it ain't affecting me either. I mean, I'm still going to go
Your
do what I'm
paycheck
going
is
to
still
do.
going to be the same.
Ain't no question about it. Now, if I worked for Michigan State, football or something, then it'd be different.
Yeah.
But I don't. So therefore, hey, I mean, I want them young people to do well
No,
because
it's-
I've been in their
it's weird.
shoes. But
It's funny you say that. And when your kid works, like my kid, when he was at Central Michigan coaching, I was all about the chips. They were my number one
As
favorite
you should
team.
be.
Now my number one favorite team, it's not Michigan, it's Idaho State where he's coaching right now.
100%, because
You know, and
that's an investment.
That's an investment. That's a emotional investment. That's bloodline investment. But I understand what you're saying. It does, with a Big Ten. I get what you're. I'm not cheering against Iowa though. I'm not cheering. I want a good game.
I'm not cheering against Iowa more than I'm cheering for. But see, that's the thing though. Like everybody's coming to this, now, like I said before, because of Caitlin Clark this and but, women's basketball was great a long time before
this
Caitlin
guy has
Clark was
been
even
a
born.
huge follower of women's basketball. You're not, fundamentally, you're not the biggest basketball, but you've always followed women's basketball.
I mean, I watched my sister play in the Final Four.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like.
Yeah.
I watched the show Swoops
Yeah.
drop 40 plus.
Yeah.
I know what good basketball looks like.
Yeah.
It was way before Caitlin Clark was even born.
Yeah.
She wasn't even thought of. And it's going to be better even after she's done.
Are
So
you
the people
Caitlin
that
Clark
jump on
out?
now-
I mean, I'm kind of burned out on her a little bit.
Well,
myself.
here's my thing about her. Everybody, the first 2 years her team was terrible. So she's a volume shooter,
Yeah.
and her percentage not great. And the last 2 years they've been, obviously they made to Final Four, whatever. But she don't play no defense. Who she played defense on yesterday or 2 days ago? Nika Mueller.
She had lapses.
She
Yeah.
she turned the ball over a million times.
Well,
and she wanted to blame everybody else, and she started she would get a palms up to everybody all the time. Like, what? It's not my fault.
She missed a lot of
Well,
shots.
And
Hey,
she
she's a
played
great
defense.
player. I get it.
No question about it. I mean, you don't put up them kind of numbers and not be able to put the ball in the hoop. But everybody just wants to,
I'll tell you where it's
There's a lot of great basketball players out there.
I was all about Caitlin Clark until we got into the breaking Pete Maravich's record. Okay, I go whoa. Let's pull back on the throttle, going down the channel here for a second. Okay, Pete Maravich. That's men's versus women's, which I think is a difficult comparison. I think there's a little apples to
Everything,
oranges.
yeah,
And
always
the other
apples to
element
oranges.
is there was no three-point shot for Pete Maravich. Okay, he played 3 years, no three-point shot, and they played fewer games back then. My God, the regular season in college basketball back in 1970 was 24 games regular season. Now they're in the 30s before they even
35.
start the tournament. So. And she played 4 years. So, she broke the women's record. That's cool. But don't delve into this Pistol Pete thing. No.
We don't even want to. Let's get the 2 black females that had way more points too. Before that she broke, that had no 3-point, that they didn't recognize.
Oh, yeah, they
because
have
it
the
wasn't
3-point.
NCAA,
3-point really
blah,
changed.
blah, blah.
That was 1987.
You don't want to Teresa and
Oh, you mean Lynette Woodward?
Yeah, Woodward, and then
yeah.
the other
From
young
Kansas.
lady, and like, okay, they didn't have no 3-pointer, and they played, like you said, way less games.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just a whole Jordan LeBron, Kobe, Maravich, Bill Russell. I mean, you can't compare this to that because it's two totally different times and everything. Let's just celebrate her for what she's doing.
Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah.
It doesn't make her the greatest ever because she didn't play against Maya Moores or the Diana Taurasi's and Brandon Stewart got 4 rings.
The other thing I got to kick out when talking about the ticket demand, and I don't mean to sound like I don't know why I'm going here, but the ticket demand for women's basketball, it's high. You know, the average was $113. Well, that's in a small gym in Cleveland. I mean, the men are playing in Phoenix in a football stadium.
A football stadium, supply and demand.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
So I think it's great that women's basketball is doing well, but I think it's getting inflated a a bit. When you start to compare it to the men's game, because to me the men's game, women, God, this is not going to go over well with some people. I don't care, but I mean fundamentally, women's basketball is solid. I get that, but I'd rather watch the men's game myself. I'm into the high wire acts.
Right. That's a fair, but that's the thing though. But that's America in a nutshell. Why do we always have to compare everything to something? Just enjoy it for what it is. We just got not an argument, but a friend of mine sent me a picture last night of a 67. It was 67 Impala wagon. Beautiful car.
I love the 67.
Absolutely beautiful car.
My 65 Chevy Impala was the best.
But it's a wagon. And it's customized
Country
as
estate.
a low ride.
What do they call it?
Customized as a low ride.
Kingswood Estate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's customized as a low ride.
Yeah.
Got the 13-inch rim. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, absolutely. The first comment.
He's a car truck guy.
Why don't you put some real tires and blah blah? It's like, bro, it's not yours. Why do you care? Just appreciate it for what it is, and that it's a beautiful vehicle. Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff I see that that's not for me, but that's not mine.
Yeah.
People might not like the fact that I have, 28 colors of paint on my truck. I do. That's why I call it rainbow.
Yeah.
I love my truck. Yeah. I keep looking at it like I'm going to repaint it. And every time I look at it, I'm like, nope, I'm not going to repaint it. That's mine. America just wants to divide and compare and all, which is fine. But at the same time, why can't we just appreciate things for what they are?
That's very well stated. That's impressive.
I appreciate the fact that Michigan, I don't like Michigan. I appreciate the fact that they went out there and won their 15 games.
I respect Michigan State. I mean, it's not like I like them, but I
got no problem with that.
Right.
Because I know what them kids are doing.
Order for Jim.
Relatability. I've often said that, particularly when we're talking to former athletes who play at the collegiate, at the FBS level. You respect those who got to that point at the other school
100%.
and other schools, and it's not as much. Fans are vicious because we have nothing invested.
Well, at least to another. There's somebody that Maddie has decided to move on.
What do you think of that?
Right? I got no problem with Maddie moving on.
I mean, that story that they did on CBS was tremendous. Yes. On his background.
The vitriol that young man is getting, he's turned his back on Michigan. Turn his back on what? He gave 4 years. I'm sure he worked his butt off to get better. Kid's only been playing basketball, 6, 7, 8 years?
Yeah, it's an amazing story.
He worked his butt off to get better.
He could end up having a good pro career. Since he had a late start.
I'm sure he's leaving with Coach Izzo's blessing. Hey, you did everything I asked you to do. He's probably have his degree. Good luck to you.
The people that hate him for leaving ones that bashing him when he was playing.
Why? What good is it going to do? Are you that?
Too much negativity in the world.
Are you that? Your life that bad where you just going to sit here and dog out a young man for making it?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with me. Mm-hmm. Live your life, son.
Yeah.
Go do something. I don't. He's the man. He built a school in his country,
that was crazy.
The Maddie system,
crazy good.
This is gonna help hundreds of people. Mm-hmm. But they want to hate on the kid.
Yeah. See, people help people. I'm in that people helping people. me, I think is really cool. Let's talk, segue before we close out here on Coach Keaton and Crawford here in the Crawford Podcasting Network. Again, we're out every Sunday morning, 9 o'clock, here at the Grand Traverse Pie Company in East Lansing. It is Michigan State football. Coach Keaton was out there checking out his team in a scrimmage. What did you see? And how do you evaluate what you see?
I mean, we
What are you looking for?
Well, you know me. I'm watching the O-line. I'm watching to see how
You
we're
watching
doing.
their foot movement, their hands?
That and just you know, are we on people? Are we being able to make good runs? Because we were ones-on-ones yesterday, so that was cool to see. You know, going against our best, and we had some good runs.
How is the
solid.
offensive line? I mean, is it
Young, still going to be a little bit young. They still working on some things, trying to, you know, because putting that whole new system in.
that seems like that would be a major adjustment.
I'd like to think that the way this young man plays quarterback, because he threw
Giles,
he had some special balls yesterday.
Has Michigan State had a quarterback that athletic, dual threat as this kid? That you can recall?
Closest thing would probably have been Tony Banks.
Whoa, that's high cotton, man.
That can move, that moves like that.
Tony Banks was.
Which it was
He was in my mind for Michigan State quarterback. He was the guy that I feared the most.
Yeah.
Well, I still go back to that
wasn't bad,
'95. Yeah, but Tony Banks had an arm that would.
Sling it all over the place.
I mean, he had a big time arm, and he had great feet.
Natural arm, just when
Yeah.
he showed up, like, wow, look at this guy. But I think I was telling my wife yesterday. I think the way Childs plays and the way we'll be young on the O-line, it may be equivalent to when we had when I was at Everett, we had Reggie Williams, and he was a upperclassman, a senior, and my offensive line was young. He's going to make the offensive line look a lot better than they are,
Okay.
because of his escapability. And they
So
will
is
be
this?
able to
So are
move.
we talking significant amount of RPO with this guy?
I would. I mean, they're seeing just basic. You know, they're just running basic.
So you can't
stuff,
get a
but,
feel what they're going to run offensively yet? What they're going to do?
I can in my head what I think. You know, I like to keep that to myself at this point. You know, just because of being able to view
Yeah.
and not share.
Yeah, I get
You know
it.
what I'm saying?
I get it.
You know, so now I'm not gonna let my cat out the bag
No.
quite yet.
No, because you're
No.
inside the walls, and you want there's some sacredness to
Absolutely.
it.
So you gotta, you gotta keep things. But I know what I think I see that I think we should be able to do. And with that, like I said, with that young man at quarterback, you know, he'll make some bad plays, good plays for us until we can get hopefully that line. Defense looked good now. That was some that you don't necessarily want to see because we're still trying to form our team.
Okay.
You know, because we're still trying to get situated. There was some hitting going on yesterday. Like, wow, you know, like be afraid of somebody. Like, hey man, make sure he gets up.
Are they bringing people to the ground yesterday?
Yeah.
So it was you went completely live, other than the
That
quarterback.
was tackling,
Okay.
and even the quarterback was live until got close. You know, and obviously, you know, he got the red jersey
They
on, so-
wrapped and held, and that was it. They didn't bring him down.
Who?
I mean, they didn't touch the quarterback.
They didn't touch him at all. Everybody else was getting hit and tackled.
Okay.
No, legit.
So
Like,
you could get, with that in mind, you could get a gauge of what this team's about.
oh yeah, no, there was some. Like I said, the ones against the ones was
Okay.
was intense, and there was some good runs, and then there was some boom. You know, I'm like, wow, okay, I see you coming up. Like, okay, very good. Lots of trash talking.
Nice.
You know, some good trash talking going on.
A lot of energy.
It was.
Okay, one last question. Compare the energy, or give me the anything you can talk about, culture-wise, energy-wise, attitude-wise, on this team versus a year ago.
I wouldn't even. I think they were so. It was so broken last year.
It was broken.
With, you know, I mean, the kids were there. They were invested.
It was broken in the spring.
Oh no! Well, in the last spring, last spring had a lot. They had a lot of juice last spring because they were.
So you
they
went to
were
the one.
trying
You went to the. Okay, that's what I was
I
comparing.
thought you were talking
now.
about the season.
Oh,
I
okay,
wasn't
but
talking
I'm just
about the
curious
season.
on if you notice any
Last
difference.
spring.
There's your measuring stick.
Yeah, I guess maybe I just don't recall
Okay.
that last spring that much. I mean, I know I went to some practices, but
Right.
I just I
Well, we'll
can't-
find out more, and
I
we're gonna obviously
can't-
find out a lot more.
Find out on the 20th for sure.
You know, it's hard to gauge from. Anyway, he's Coach Kerry Keaton, Tom Crawford here on the Crawford Podcasting Network. Come out next Sunday, 9 o'clock. Again, go on the YouTube channel, Tom State Community, also on our Facebook page. Until next time, enjoy the games.
Yes.
Once versus once.
Go green.
Go blue.